Hello my friends and fellow travelers, ciao a tutti, and welcome back to another travel guide from me, Pierce at Tales from the Road. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we're talking about that big, bad, crazy, chaotic, amazing city in the south of Italy. Of course I'm talking about Naples, Napoli. It's a beautiful city with a lot going on, very historical, very chaotic, and I have a passion for this region. My family actually comes from this region, Campania. So, today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know before you go, so you can have an awesome trip in Naples, a memorable time and stay in the south of Italy, and maybe learn a few things along the way. If that sounds good, let's get into the content. Andiamo ragazzi. So as we always do before we get into the practical information, let's hit a little geographical and historical context so we can get to know Naples a little bit better before we visit. Geographically speaking, Naples is one of the largest cities on the Mediterranean, and it is found in the southwestern part of the Italian peninsula. Naples, notably, is found in the region of Campania, which is a very famous region for a lot of different reasons in the southern part of Italy. Many people on a trip to Naples also plan trips to the Amalfi Coast or the islands that sit just off of Naples, and it's becoming one of the tourist hotspots on the Mediterranean in general. Historically speaking, Naples has always been a central hub of trade and activity of people for like the last 2,000 years. Naples, aka Neapolis, was a very famous Roman city, and many other Roman coastal towns popped up around Neapolis in the ancient times. So when you visit Naples today, you're going to find a lot of Roman stuff. In a little bit more modern context, Naples has also been an imperial capital to many different kingdoms which ruled over the southern part of Italy. In Naples, you'll find imperial palaces, you'll find epic basilicas, you'll find great museums paying homage to the imperial times of southern Italy. In a more modern context, today's Naples is a pretty wild city. In many ways, it's the best of Italy and it's the worst of Italy all wrapped up into one place. It's a booming economic place because of the tourism, because of being located near Pompeii and the Amalfi Coast. It's got a lot of cruise ships coming in daily, bringing in new people, new business, and new things to sort of build this economy in southern Italy, which honestly is quite far behind the economy of northern Italy. Naples is vibrant, it's passionate, it's aggressive, it's chaotic. It doesn't really follow the rules and is the one city that I would say in Europe doesn't feel like it's in Europe. It's falling apart, it doesn't really function very well, but it's also filled with people who are passionate about life and love their city to its core. It's a place that you can't forget. It's a place with so much to see, and I'm going to help you explore Naples in the practical section coming up now. So let's start with visas. If you're an American, you get 90 days visa-free in Italy. But remember, and I have an entire video dedicated to the Schengen zone, that if you're traveling around Europe for a couple months or whatever, you only get 90 days in the Schengen zone. So if you spend a lot of time in Germany, make sure that you give yourself time to enjoy your trip to Naples in Italy. They're all in the same zone, and you can watch the video if you want more information. But if you're just going for a short trip, you're good to go. So let's talk money and expenses in Naples. So in Naples, you're going to use the euro, and the euro right now is trading something like 0.91 euros equals $1. You can just think of if you spend like 10 euros on something, it's going to be like $11 for you. When it comes to expenses, the rule of thumb is that northern Italy is normally more expensive than southern Italy, although, and I'm not sure why, it could be the inflation, it could be the tourism factor, but Naples itself is actually not as cheap as you would expect, and it's certainly the same price as other larger Italian cities. The important thing to remember about Italy is that there's a high tourist season and a low tourist season. The high tourist season normally starts in April and ends in October. The low tourist season is the cold times minus Christmas. That means that the prices are going to go up during the high tourist times because a lot of tourists from all over the world come to Italy. And if you visit in February, it's going to be cheaper. I just stayed in the high tourist season in Naples pretty recently, and the hotels were definitely not cheap. Something like 100 euros being the worst place you can stay. Normal stays would be like around 150 euros per night, up to 200. If you want to stay at a name brand hotel, it could be certainly more expensive than that. Eating out in Naples can be cheap, but also isn't that cheap. If you're getting gelato or pizza, like, yeah, definitely cheap. Under 10 euros is good to go. But if you're going to a nicer restaurant, be expected to pay normal, like city Italian prices. Also, drinking in Naples is oddly expensive. It's a city where you get 8 euro Aperol Spritz. The sort of general rule of thumb as someone who lives in Italy is that you spend around 6 euros for an Aperol Spritz. and you get, some potato chips or some aperitivo food included. In Naples, sometimes it's €8 and you don't get the aperitivo included. Also, coffee is notably expensive in Naples. In Italy, it should normally be like €1, €1.10 for an espresso, maybe €1.50 for a cappuccino. In Naples, it's just like €3.50 for a cappuccino. So I know that doesn't sound expensive in comparison to like US prices, but for Italy, very expensive. So Naples, I don't think it's the best deal, honestly. So be ready to spend a little bit of money on your trip there. An important thing to note is when you come to Italy, coffee and coffee culture is incredibly important to the people here. But maybe you're like busy and you don't have time to stop into a coffee shop for your morning espresso. That's where the sponsor of today's video comes in. Today's video is sponsored by Outin Nano portable espresso machine. Compact and lightweight, this little powerhouse is your new travel companion. Whether you're at work, camping, or just on the road, the Outin Nano makes it easy to enjoy barista quality espresso without a coffee shop in sight. Here's how it works. You just add ground coffee and water, press the button, and voila. In seconds, you'll have a rich, aromatic shot of espresso. The battery-powered design means no cords or outlets, just pure convenience. Want to get creative? Use the espresso for lattes, cappuccinos, or any of your favorite coffee drinks. The Outin Nano gives you flexibility to customize your brew just the way you like it. Plus, it comes with everything you need. An easy-to-clean design, a built-in pressure gauge, and even a travel case. It's built to last so you can enjoy quality coffee for years to come. Take your coffee experience to the next level with Outin Nano portable espresso machine. Whether you're an espresso aficionado or just a lover of a good cup of joe, this little machine is ready to fuel your adventures. Get yours today and never settle for average coffee again. Alright, so now we're on to transportation, and this is a fun section because the transportation in Naples is an absolute disaster. The only city I can really think of that reminds me of the transportation in Naples is Istanbul. Istanbul has 20 million people, Naples has 3 million people, and somehow the transportation in Naples almost feels worse. When you get into Naples, you're probably gonna fly in, and the good news for you is that the airport is more or less in the city, so getting in and out isn't so bad. That being said, the traffic is very bad and the bus connections are a little bit loose. So if you're taking a taxi into the city, it could be quite expensive, between €30 if you're going to the old quarter average, and it could of course be a lot higher if you're going to different parts of the city. The taxis in Naples are a little bit scammy, so make sure that you always ask how much it's going to be approximately, make sure that you check the meter, make sure that the taxi is a legit taxi. I mean, Italy is regulated with taxis, but of course Naples is unregulated in a lot of things also, so you just gotta make sure to keep yourself safe as a tourist. If you don't plan on taking taxis or cars in Naples, which is honestly a pretty good idea because of the traffic, you're gonna be given two options. You can use the public transportation, buses and metros. You can use your feet. Your feet work, but the distances in Naples can sometimes be long, so if you're not up to a lot of walking, there is a subway, and the subway is pretty good. The only thing is that the subway is ridiculous. The city has made the weirdest choice of any city that I've ever heard of, and they have one subway, the Metro Line 1, which is paid for by the city of Naples. So you can buy a ticket and use Metro Line 1. But if you want to use Metro Line 2, which is actually not paid for by the city, it was actually built by the Italian national train line called Frecciarossa, you're going to have to buy that off the same little stall that you would buy tickets for a train in and out of the city. They also have the Campania Express, which is a city-to-city train, sort of a commuter train, sort of a tourist train, which will take you to major tourist sites like Pompeii, or if you want to go all the way to Sorrento on the Amalfi Coast. But also, it's not connected in the same ticketing apps as Metro Line 1 with the city and Metro Line 2 with Frecciarossa. So just lastly, because Naples is a bit of a hilly city, they have funiculars, or sort of trains that go up the mountain so that you don't have to walk all the way up. But of course, those tickets are of course not on the same platform as all the other ones, and you actually buy them inside sort of a kiosk, like a tabacceria where you buy other things. Normally they're just in front, but again, all of these tickets you got to buy in person. Those ones you can only buy in cash. The whole thing is just ridiculous. So just make sure you know where you're buying your tickets. It's a disaster. We had this issue when we were in Naples. Everyone in Naples is always confused about this as a tourist, and it's probably the most ridiculous train situation I've ever seen in a city. They also have integrated buses, which is great. But do the buses run on time? Not really. Are there like little timetables where the buses are coming, like so that you know where they are and that they are coming? Not necessarily. So the buses, not good. The trains, confusing. I mean, they definitely work, but they're confusing. And then you have the taxis, which are expensive. So when I'm in Naples, I always walk. I'm a walking guy. Takes a little bit longer. It's a good way to explore the city. That's also a good way to go about it. So that's the transportation. Take it as you will. Safety and security. So Naples is notoriously a pretty sketchy city because of, number one, the presence of the mafia, the Gomorra, but also just historically, like a lot of weird people doing weird things. That being said, when I was in Naples, I've been in Naples 3 times, I've never felt that it was any sketchier necessarily than any other city in Italy. It's just people say that. I think Naples, number one, is very busy. So there's people everywhere. There's small streets. There's like just a lot of stuff going on. So, and there's also a lot of people on motorbikes. If you've never lived in a motorbike place, motorbikes are very easy for pickpocketing because they can drive by you and they can grab your stuff and keep driving. And there's really not much you can do if that happens to you. That being said, I've never seen it happen to anyone, but just be aware that that is a thing. So you're going to have to be aware of pickpockets, be aware of people on motorbikes, and the Spanish Quarter of Naples is notoriously a bit dangerous for tourists, although it was very touristy when I last went, so I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. Just don't go anywhere where there are no tourists, and just make sure you know where you are. Other than that, I thought Naples is a normally safe European city. So now on to food, my favorite section. Naples is legit for food. That's the first point, and that's the last point. It's a notorious city for very, very good eats. And in Naples, it all starts and all ends with the humble pizza. The Naples-style pizza is a thick, fluffy crust with a very simple interior. Many Naples pizzas are just good mozzarella cheese, some fresh tomatoes, a little bit of basil, and some just really, really good dough. The Neapolitan-style pizza, of course, includes alici, which are anchovies, and it's a very notable type of pizza that you can get. The Naples pizza experience is sort of an experience found on the street. Many places sell smaller versions of whatever Naples pizza you consider to be Naples pizza, and it's just sort of a street food. It's like €3, €4. It's normally just cheese on it, and they also sometimes can call it pizza portafolio, which basically means wallet pizza or pocket pizza. And basically, this is the pizza Naples-style pizza that you take, you fold, you just eat. Just go for it. You know, it's not classy. It's not anything. It's kind of like a slice in New York. It's the best. Naples, of course, also has a lot of pizzerias where you can go and sit down and get like really epic Naples-style pizza, like the traditional way or a more modern way with a lot of different extra toppings. Regardless of what you do with pizza in Naples, it's good to go. You can also try, or you also must try, pizza fritta, which is the fried version of Naples pizza. It's like kind of a calzone of what we would have in the US, filled with tomatoes and cheese and fried, deep fried. It's like the inside is like jet fuel hot when you get it. It's incredibly delicious and everyone should have one. Other things you can try on your stay in Naples are, of course, croque, which are basically like croquettes or fried potato dumpling type things. Very, very tasty, very, very crunchy. They love the fried food in Naples for sure. It's very unhealthy food in the best way. Also to go with that, fried calamari, any type of fried seafood. They have a fritta mista, which is like a mixed fried basket of seafood. Also very good. In the morning, you can also, of course, go for a sfogliatella, which is sort of like the extra crunchy version of a croissant filled with more of like a paste dough instead of just sort of an airy dough. It's really good with an Italian espresso, and it's a must-do when you're in Naples. Lastly, go for things that are lemon. You can do limoncello. You can, of course, do sort of lemon granita, which is sort of like a slushie made of lemon. When you're in the city streets of Naples, you'll also see some very notorious little street stands that sell basically what they call lemonade between the thighs, which is basically fresh squeezed lemon juice that you slam in your face and it gets all, you're supposed to basically stand wide so the lemon juice doesn't go on your pants. So it's a good Naples experience and very good photo shoot opportunity. So to end the video, I'm going to give you some personal recommendations of stuff I like to do in Naples when I'm there, and I'll hit you with a couple day trip ideas as well. When you're in Naples, you basically can start from the Centro Storico. This is the old center, and it's full of old churches, monasteries, really interesting museums, old little streets to wander through, pizzerias and other places to check out like that. It's a good place to get the original vibe of Naples. You can then go down Via Toledo, which is the large shopping street of Naples. It's modern. It's super busy. There's street food vendors and other sort of places to get gelato and all that good stuff. It's a very vibrant place, very, very busy though. And it's going to lead you into the area where you can see the Spanish Quarter, the Quartieri Spagnoli. This area is really cool and has a huge love of Maradona, the basically patron saint of Naples today. Maradona is not a Catholic saint. He is a soccer player from Argentina, but he is the most notorious player to ever play for Naples soccer team. And if you know anything about the Neapolitan people, is that they love their pizza and they love their soccer. So you'll see Maradona everywhere. And in the Spanish Quarter, you'll also see lots of sort of like homages to Maradona, murals of Maradona. You can even get a Maradona Spritz, which is like an Aperol Spritz, but it's blue. I think it's with blue curacao or something. Classic stuff. Once you go there, you can sort of make your way down to the port area by Galleria Umberto I and the large piazza with the palazzo of the basically Italian kings that sort of founded Naples as an imperial power. All of that is great. You can walk along the coastline in Naples, basically as far as you want to go. They have a massive promenade that's awesome for walking, biking, and just being outside. It's great. The last part of the city that I want to talk about is Vomero, which sits high on the hill. It's sort of the upper echelon part of Naples. It's a little bit more calm, a little bit more chill. No, not so many motorbikes. You go up there via funicular, and you can get one of the best sunset views in the city, just outside one of these famous castles that sort of sits up there. You'll find it. It's very easy to find if you just look it up. Naples also sits in a really good place for day trips. So here are some things that I recommend. Number one, you can go up to Caserta. And I only say this because my family is originally from this area, but they have one of the largest palaces in Europe, built by a Spanish king way back when, never finished it. It's massive, very regal, very worth visiting. The city of Caserta is cute. It's a small sort of, campagnese town. And you can get a little slower life vibe than you would find in Naples. Next, you can go to the Amalfi Coast, which is the highlight for many tourists who schlep all the way out to Naples from the US. It's very touristy, it's not so cheap, but it's definitely very pretty. There's a lot of hilly, rocky coastlines, beautiful little cities like Positano and bigger cities like Salerno. This is a really good place to get out of Naples. You can go via the Campania Express and you can just go check it out. Lots of good stuff to see. But before you do that, you can check out Mount Vesuvius, which is the volcano that destroyed the Pompeii civilization during the Roman Empire times. Pompeii, however, I would say is a must-do for anyone who goes to Naples if you enjoy history. I have been to many Roman areas in my life, but Pompeii literally blew my mind with how much was preserved and how amazing a site it is. You can look up, there's a lot of stuff about Pompeii. I'm just going to say, go to Pompeii. You will not be mad about it. It's only, I think, 22 euros for a ticket for the day, and you get to go to all the sites. You get to see all the history, and very, very memorable. Gotta do it. Lastly, you can of course go to the beautiful Mediterranean islands that are within striking distance of a ferry ride from Naples. You could go to Procida, which is the closest island. It's the least hassle, and very beautiful, very cute. You could go to Ischia, which is very famous for its wines. And you could of course go to the very famous, very touristy, but very beautiful island of Capri, which a lot of famous people like to spend time on. So up to you. I've never been to any of them, but I've only heard good things in general from most of them. That being said, Naples is an epic city. Is it chaotic? Yes. Is it sort of a disaster? Yes. Is it an absolutely beautiful tourist location that everyone should go to? Also yes. I hope this guide was helpful for you, and I hope you have an awesome trip to Naples or you learned something new today. If you liked the video, make sure to of course like and subscribe. It really helps me out. We're really trying to get the channel to at least 30,000 subscribers. We're pretty close, so just make sure to hit the old subscribe button. Would help me out. I'm cooking food from all over the world with my Project 197. I'm almost at 100 dishes, which is absolutely ridiculous. So if you want to look at the journey on Instagram or on TikTok, feel free to follow on Tastes from the Road on Instagram. That's a good place to find my stuff. If you're interested in travel consulting on a trip to Naples or anywhere in Italy, I'm happy to hop on a call with you. Feel free to message me on my email. So that's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you're a legend. Happy travels, stay safe, see you next time.